Hi, Mike Muncie here from Noel Jones. Firstly, to you and your family, I hope you're keeping safe and well during what has been a very, very unusual year that we've had so far. Quick update, reaching out regarding what's happening on the inside of the real estate market. And I hear you say not a lot you think might be happening, but certainly has been very, very busy. Property management, just quickly touching on that, virtual leasing. There hasn't been a lot of support for landlords, quite frankly, during this time, but we've been able to be successfully getting people moved through virtual leasing, making sure maintenance is still happening, and we're very lucky we've got a digitally based cloud business, so we've been able to keep going without too much of a hiccup, which has been terrific. In fact, we've picked up quite a large amount of new rental listings over the course of the lockdown. From a sales perspective, well, it's been interesting. Certainly business as unusual. We've been able to make quite a number of sales during this second lockdown period. Firstly, wrapping up some sales where buyers had inspected just before the lockdown, and then now actually making some sales sight unseen. And what we're seeing is if the property is owner occupied, we're doing guided Zoom tours with the owners and a number of buyers, which has actually led to a couple of sales being made. And because of the amount of buyer interest there is out there, the lack of stock, any property that is currently online is getting some really good interest in people looking to get on with things, and they're looking forward to getting back to it, obviously subject to the government restrictions. And we've seen a real wave in the last couple of weeks of owners getting online now with photos that they've done themselves and videos they've done themselves, and we've been helping them make those look good and edit them in a way that they can get online and capture that inquiry. So at the very least, they've got some momentum ahead of inspections recommencing, or if we can get a sale virtually done, then we're actively pursuing that for them. So we've seen a real spate of that. It's interesting to note that the government's announced a policy today where they're going to be relaxing the responsible lending policies that they put in place a couple of years ago, which you may recall the Royal Commission into banking a couple of years ago before the federal election. That sort of put a real dampener on the market. So it sounds like they're about to open up a lot of that restrictive policy that they had for the banks, which what that means in very simple terms is that it might be easier to get a loan in the next couple of years. So some of the serviceability, some of the credit, some of the LVR and the percentages you can borrow may very well change. And that combined with the interest rates already at very, very low levels with comparison rates around the 2%, and cashback offers out there at the moment, it's an incredible time to be looking to refinance or looking to get a deal from the bank. So it's certainly worth talking to your broker and making sure you've done that homework, because there's some really good opportunities out there in the finance side. So what's going to happen between now and the end of the year? So at the moment, the earliest date for the recommencement of inspections is the 26th of October. Assuming that that's accurate and correct, then we're going to have about 6 weeks to go until Christmas. It will be a busy time. We're going to see early move advantage from the clients that are on the market now or ready to go in those first couple of weeks. There's definitely a pent-up buyer demand. So the market, we feel, is going to be pretty strong, pretty buoyant, we think, probably for those first weeks and months as we bounce out. So November, December, January, February, there won't be much downtime at Christmas. So that 4-month block will probably be the new spring market that we'll see this year. We do note that depending on how the roadmap looks, there may even be a return to open for inspections and auctions slated for the back end of November. So perhaps December, we may see some return to more of a natural real estate market that you would normally expect to see, as they're doing in Sydney and New South Wales right now. As we head into next year, a couple of things to really look out for. So in March, at the end of March, we see the end of JobKeeper and JobSeeker, which will be interesting to watch that in terms of how that has an impact. Certainly there's the end of the rental moratorium as well. So at the end of March, the ban on the evictions and that comes to an end, provided that doesn't get extended. So we may very well see some investors looking to sell their properties at that point because they've been unable to gain access to their property through this time. And as we've mentioned, it's been quite a hard and difficult time for a lot of landlords with the restrictions that have been on them. So there hasn't been very many investment properties sold this year. When you look at it closely. So that could very well happen in the early parts of next year. And then there's the Residential Tenancies Act changes that are due to come into effect at the start of April next year. So it'll be a really interesting time from that perspective. So look, there are great opportunities depending on what your goals are. So if you're looking to make a move and upgrade, whether it's a downsize, whether you're buying an investment property, development site, first home, it's definitely a long-term decision. If you look at the bank's projections, yes, there may be some ebbs and flows in the next year or so, but certainly over the midterm, so the next 2, 3, 4 years, they are predicting strong growth in the marketplace. So that is really interesting to see that coming from the major banks and some of the economists projecting forward. So what a great time to be planning. If we can help you assess your situation, give you some really good insight to where things are sitting for you, given the changes that have happened this year, and give you the right game plan, give me a call directly, 0400 562 887. Love to have a chat. Look forward to catching up with you. Until we talk again, be safe, keep well, and we'll see you soon.